Is this your first mountain championship title?
It's my first mountain race. I ran in college, and I kind of ran post-collegiately after college for a while, and was progressing pretty rapidly every year. So I ran at the 2012 Olympic trials on the track and in the marathon. And then I guess 2016, so like a year and a half ago, I was kind of trying to at least match, if not kind of exceed, those achievements I'd had 4 years before. And I did qualify for the marathon, which more people qualify for, but when it came to track season, I wasn't even getting close, and I was actually getting further and further away every time I raced. So I kind of thought, well, I think, I had a good run, maybe I'm done. I'm not really enjoying it. I'm not having fun. I don't want to be at races. I don't want to go. I don't want to race. So I was basically retired for about 2 days until a friend was running the USA Mountain Championships, and I didn't even know what that meant. I'd never run a trail race. So I was like, I'll just go for fun and kind of end my competitive career on something that's fun, because I do like running on the trails. And I just happened to win it and realized that I was really good at it, and I just never knew because I'd never done it. So from that point to now, it's kind of been almost like a rejuvenation in my career, and I feel like I was able to kind of reinvent myself as an athlete. But in the process, I've made sure to remember why I kind of switch sports, and I don't stress myself out about training. I don't stress myself out about mileage, and so far it's translated really well, and it's been a good year and a half so far.
Excellent.
My freshman year there, it was optional for us to participate in the first level of the academy. The leadership academy is called Rising Stars. So I did that just because it sounded cool to me. But I was a team captain the last couple years, and our team specifically, which was cross country and track, required the team captains to stay in the leadership academy, which I probably would have done anyway. But it was an amazing experience, and I think I realize it more now than maybe I did at the time, even though I really valued it. But we did, I think it was bi-monthly, so I think every 2 weeks we did workshops with every other team captain from all the other sports. I think the thing that impacted me the most, as far as opening my eyes to some things, was we did a evaluation where we evaluated ourselves as a captain, our coaches evaluated us as a captain, and all the athletes on the team evaluated us. And I kind of remember the first time going through that and reading, anonymous comments, which can be a little brutal sometimes, not even realizing, how I was coming across to people, and both in negative and positive ways. Sometimes I'm like, wow, I had no idea I was, encouraging this person as much as it sounds like I am. But on the same token, like, this person thinks I, don't invest in them at all. So that was probably one of the most valuable things I felt they did. And then kind of working with us to strengthen our strengths, but strengthen our weaknesses, and kind of seeing the scores go up every year. And then my last year, I was awarded I forget what it was called, Tar Heel Leader of Distinction. So it's ranking a certain level at each one, but it took 3 years to get there, and it was really, really beneficial for me. Sure. I think one of the main things is I have 55 athletes, so even if I wanted to individually invest loads of time every day into each athlete, I physically can't do it, and I try to spread it out, but kind of, relying on a handful of 6 or 7 athletes that have been with me for, I've only been here 2 years, but we've kind of, I don't want to say trained them, but kind of relayed to them what I expect, and then it kind of trickles down. And the longer I'm here, the more I see that environment going more and more towards where I want it to be because of that. You kind of have to rely on your athletes to reinforce what you're saying, because I'm with them 2 hours a day, whereas they're with each other a lot more than that. So it's very, very important with a big team, and youth athletes who are influenced a lot more by their peers, I would say. So kind of trusting your captains and your older people to be influencing them the way you want them to, or influencing them in a way that's productive, is crucial. Over the years, as both an athlete and as a coach, I think what was made more and more evident to me towards the end was how little attention I put into the mental side of performing, which now I'm like, that's crazy. I don't know how I didn't think that this was like a huge thing. But just, being in college and being a student athlete and being stressed about academics, the pressures of being at a major school, like all the things that played a role that you're, I don't want to say taught to, but kind of just like dismiss as, oh, it's stress, it's fine, like I'm still going to perform. And I saw those things take a toll on me throughout my career, and I think especially towards the end when I was near retirement, I think a lot of it was just I wasn't able to handle the pressures I was putting on myself. So kind of seeing firsthand how important it was that I think it almost led to my career almost dying. It's so crucial, and I think I'm not doing my athletes the best service I can as a coach if I'm not addressing that side. So my decision to go back to school was to be equipped and able to coach them in every aspect. I feel confident in writing workouts and writing training, but that's only 20% of it or 30% of it. So I've been lucky. I've had a number of great coaches. Every coach I've had has been great in their own way, and I've probably had about 4 or 5 coaches that were with me for a long period in different portions of my career. But my time at Carolina kind of changed my trajectory. At the time, coming into college, it was my dream school, and running was kind of my way to get in there. And I didn't think I'd actually stay on the team for the 4 or 5 years that I was there. And that quickly shifted to, being a team captain and almost investing more than I thought I would. So I think my college coach really shifted my view of myself. He took a chance on me. I should not have been on that team my freshman year. It was Shalane Flanagan had just finished her eligibility, and there's 2 more girls on the team that made the next Olympic team, and it was just, I was over my head. But he saw something in my personality and saw how hard I worked and took a chance on me. And I think having someone else believe in me and invest in me is what built that investment in myself. So I think I kind of credit him for changing the trajectory, and I don't think I'd still be involved in sports if that hadn't happened. I've had some great teammates too. I've been really lucky. Just one of the biggest achievements, but also just races that stands out in my mind of the hundreds of races I run, it was I ran in the CIM. It's a marathon in Sacramento. When was that, 3 years ago maybe, to try and qualify for the 2016 Olympic trials. And my teammate Kara Lubinecki, who also ran that race, we trained every single day together for 12 weeks leading up into it, and then we actually ran the entire race together, and it's 2.5 hours, so it's a long time to be going through the process of a race with somebody, and it was just unlike anything I'd experienced before. We both started to get tired at the same time, so we would alternate every half mile even, and I would sit on her and she'd pull me along, and then I would take a little bit, and it was just kind of an emotional experience finishing that race together. And we ran really well and qualified for the Olympic trials together, and it was just kind of this journey we took together, and it was really neat. Gosh, I think there's a lot going on in the life of a 16-year-old. You got school and social life and homecoming last weekend, like all these things going on, and I think it's really easy to kind of get caught up in like this being like the time of your life, and sometimes that leads to maybe not putting your priorities in the right place and thinking that maybe social life's more important, or not putting as much into sports or academics. And I can barely remember high school, and I'm not even that old, so I tell my kids all the time, like, your future is going to be the best time of your life, and the things you do past high school and past college even are going to be like so much more important than what's going on now. And I really encourage them to kind of stay focused on those things and do the right things. And I turned out great and I achieved the things I wanted, but there were definitely some times in high school where I kind of strayed and lost sight of the things that should have been the most important to me. I think it goes back to outside my college coach, my other influential coach was my dad. He was my high school coach, and they both said different things to me before I would race each time, but they both stuck with me. And my dad would always say, just do your best. And I had time goals and I had very concrete objective goals, but at the end of the day all I can do is what I'm capable of, and that's for any athlete. So I think putting in the work and walking away from, it can't be every game or every race, but walking away from a season and saying, whether I achieved what I wanted to or not, I know that I put everything into it and I got the best out of myself. And my college coach would say something different. He would say, have fun. And that's equally as important. So, I would say if someone's doing everything right and running all the miles and doing all the workouts and maybe running what they want in races, but they're not enjoying it, to me that's not success either. So there's a balance of loving what you're doing and working really hard and finding kind of a harmonious interaction between the two. Right. I actually was a volunteer coach at Carolina for a few years when I finished, and I helped a lot with recruiting, and I always kind of advise to go somewhere where you think that you would be really happy if your prospective sport wasn't going as well as you wanted it to. So of course you want to go somewhere where you feel confident in the coach and confident in the teammates and the program, but on top of that, I think putting all the pressure on that it can almost make an 18-year-old feel overwhelmed. So somewhere that you feel safe and that you feel like you would be happy, just as a person first, and then as an athlete would kind of be the bonus on top.